If you feel broke right now, don't scroll away, because what I'm about to say might explain a feeling you've had for years, but never knew how to describe. Not in a motivational way, not in a wake up at 5 a.m. and hustle harder way. I mean real life, real pressure, real frustration. The kind you feel when your paycheck hits your account and somehow disappears before you even have time to enjoy it. The kind of stress that sits quietly in your chest when you open your banking app late at night. The kind where you work and work and work, but still feel like you're falling behind. And that's exactly why I need you to hear this. You are not broke because you are lazy. You are not broke because you are irresponsible. And you are definitely not broke because you didn't work hard enough. You feel broke because you're living in America. And before you click off thinking this is some dramatic statement, just stay with me for the next minute. Because once you see this clearly, you'll never look at money the same way again. You were told a story your whole life, a simple one. Study hard, get a job, earn money, build a stable life. That's it. That was supposed to be the formula. That was supposed to be enough. So why does it feel like the formula stopped working? Why does it feel like even when you do everything right, something still isn't adding up? Why are so many people quietly stressed, quietly exhausted, quietly pretending they're okay? Why does it feel like surviving has become more expensive than actually living? That question matters, because most people never stop long enough to ask it. Meet Chris. Chris is 27 years old. He's not some millionaire. He's not struggling at rock bottom either. He's just normal. He wakes up early. He goes to work. He pays his bills. He tries to be responsible. He doesn't buy luxury watches. He's not flying first class. He's not wasting thousands every month. In fact, from the outside, Chris looks completely fine. If you saw him walking down the street, you'd probably think he has it together. But what nobody sees is what happens behind closed doors. Nobody sees Chris checking his account balance before buying groceries. Nobody sees him mentally calculating if he can afford dinner with friends. Nobody sees that tiny wave of anxiety every time his phone lights up with a payment notification. Nobody sees how tired he is of feeling like his life is one unexpected expense away from chaos. And if any of this feels familiar, if you're already nodding your head a little too hard right now, then this channel is probably for you. Because this isn't about fake overnight success. This isn't about pretending you'll become rich in 30 days. This is about understanding money in a way that actually makes life easier. So if that sounds useful, you can subscribe and stay around. Only if you genuinely feel this content speaks to you. Now let's go back to Chris. Chris makes around $5,000 a month. Sounds decent, right? That's what everyone says. You're making good money. You should be comfortable. You're doing fine. But let's actually break it down. Taxes hit first. Suddenly, that $5,000 isn't really $5,000 anymore. Now it's closer to $3,800. Then rent shows up, gone. Utilities, gone. Internet, gone. Car payment, gone. Insurance, gone. Gas, groceries, phone bill, streaming subscriptions, random fees, medical costs, a birthday gift, one dinner out, a small emergency, and just like that, the money's almost gone. Not because Chris was reckless, not because Chris made some horrible decision, just because he existed for another month. That's the part nobody prepares you for. Existing is expensive, and it keeps getting more expensive. Rent goes up, groceries go up, insurance goes up, gas goes up. Everything keeps climbing. But your income, it doesn't move with the same energy. So now you're stuck in this exhausting cycle where you're constantly trying to catch up to a moving target. You get a raise, and for a brief moment, you feel relieved. Then somehow life gets more expensive again, and suddenly the raise feels invisible. It's like trying to fill a bucket with water while someone quietly drills holes into the bottom. And over time, something dangerous starts happening. You start blaming yourself. You tell yourself maybe you need to budget harder. Maybe you should stop spending completely. Maybe you're just not disciplined enough. Maybe everyone else has figured something out that you haven't. But look around. So many people feel this exact same pressure. People earning $50,000 feel it. People earning $80,000 feel it. People earning $100,000 feel it. Different salaries, same stress, same pressure, same late night thoughts. Why does it still feel like I'm behind? And that question slowly starts eating at people because nobody wants to admit it. Nobody wants to say, I'm tired. Nobody wants to say, I'm doing everything I can and it still doesn't feel like enough. So instead, everyone performs. Social media smiles, vacation pictures, nice outfits, new cars. But behind the scenes, credit card debt, payment plans, financial stress, quiet panic, it's not always what it looks like. That's why this conversation matters. Because sometimes the biggest relief in the world is hearing the truth out loud. The truth is, you are not crazy for feeling this way. You are not weak for feeling pressure. You are reacting normally to an environment that has become increasingly difficult to navigate. The rules changed, costs changed, expectations changed, but people are still judging themselves using an old version of reality. Now, here's the important part. This isn't about becoming hopeless. This isn't about giving up and saying everything is doomed. Because while you can't control the entire system, you can control how you move inside it. And that starts with changing the way you think about your money. First, stop waiting to save whatever is left over at the end of the month. For most people, there is nothing left over. That strategy is broken. Pay yourself first, even if it feels small, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's just a little. Second, become brutally honest about what is draining your money without adding value to your life. Not everything needs to be cut, just the things silently bleeding your finances. Third, stop measuring your life against unrealistic expectations. A lot of financial anxiety comes from believing you should be further ahead than you are. Sometimes the pressure isn't just financial, it's emotional. It's the gap between where you are and where you thought you'd be by now. And maybe that's the hardest part of all. Not the bills, not the prices, not even the stress. It's the disappointment, the quiet feeling that life was supposed to look different by now. That by this age, things were supposed to feel more stable, more secure, less heavy. But if that's how you feel, hear me carefully. Your timeline is not broken. Your life is not ruined. And you are not alone in this experience. Millions of people are feeling exactly what Chris feels. Working hard, trying their best, carrying invisible pressure, wondering if they're the problem, wondering why life feels harder than it should, wondering if it's ever going to get easier. And maybe that's why this conversation needs to happen more often, because sometimes clarity is more powerful than motivation. Sometimes understanding what's happening around you is the first step toward actually improving your situation. So now I want to ask you something, and I want a real answer. When you look at your life honestly, do you truly believe you're failing? Or does it feel like the system became harder while nobody warned you? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I really want to hear where you stand on this. And if this video made you feel seen, understood, or just a little less alone, consider subscribing. There's a lot more to talk about, and this is only the beginning.